SwimSwam.com, joined by Matt Kredich, head coach of the Tennessee Vols. And Matt, last week it seemed like on days 1 and 2, everything went pretty much right, especially day 1. This week, it's not quite fallen into place the same. Is that just a testament to how this meet goes with ups and downs?
Absolutely. I mean, last week itself was the most dramatic series of swings I think I've ever experienced at an NCAA meet. And this week is no different. And you watch, a meet is made up of, and a championship meet is always made up of kind of ebbs, flows, highs, lows, big swings in one direction, and then a challenge that you've got to deal with. And those challenges in some ways are defined by the circumstance of how other people are doing, but usually you can boil it down to just what you're doing. And this week we've not been firing on all cylinders. Got a couple good relays yesterday with a couple great splits within them, and then when a couple people were swimming well, the other 2 people didn't swim as well, and then it might flip-flop at night. So we haven't really been on all cylinders, but the big message that I would give to any team at any time, and we keep repeating it to our team, is your next swim can be the best swim you've ever had. Your last swim you can always frame your last swim as a step towards the next great swim. You can also frame it any way you want. You can frame it as, I'm not ready, I'm not rested, I'm exhausted, I can't swim well. But you have a choice also to frame it as, okay, that was not my best, and this is why, so I'm going to use that to figure out how to get to my best. And so at some point you run out of opportunities, and that's when the meet's over. But until we run out of opportunities, we'll keep chasing our best swims.
How does last weekend's meet for the women affect the men's team? I mean, there's obviously emotional highs from you. I mean, you've got to, even if you're not feeling tired necessarily, you gave a lot of emotion into last week. Not to mention the fact that you were away from the boys for a little bit while you were out here with the women. How does last week's meet affect this week's meet?
Well, I think last week's meet really helped our men because they saw that essentially what they were doing was leading to success for the women, and they also got to see sort of the personality of the women's meet itself, and know that the men's meet's going to take on some of those characteristics. So in some ways they got to live through the success and through the ups and downs actually, and I think maybe come in here with a little bit of sense of how this is going to go. On the flip side, I'm away, but Lance Asti and Tyler Finley did a great job with those guys. Davis Tarwater, our volunteer assistant, was there to help them out, make them laugh. So I'm not sure that affects it at all, but for me, it's like, I'm away from my kids for a week. I come back and they've grown, like their voices have changed, or they're taller, or they've picked up a word that I didn't know they had, and it was interesting for me to see them swim after a week, because I actually thought they looked a lot better. But there's also a period of getting reconnected, and so I mean, it's the first time I've been through this in a long time. If we can make any changes for the better, we will.
When a swimmer has a rough one and is trying to look at that next swim, like you're saying, is it different trying to show them that path if they're a guy versus if they're a girl?
No, I think the differences may come just with the individual personality, and the difference may be in how a coach paints the picture ahead, like how you frame this swim as part of the path that's going to lead them to greatness. And some may be able to see that more clearly than others in the language that I use. I may also have to paint a different picture, and timing is a big issue too, because emotions and feelings and kind of receptiveness can be really raw when somebody's nursing a disappointing performance. So we have to have that discussion when they're open and when they're willing to listen, or when they will receive that message.
Pretty rough disqualification this morning in that relay. What do you say to a group of guys after something like that?
Next swim. What's our next swim? And if we have a chance to learn from that disqualification, we certainly will. And we'll learn from it for the future. We won't have a fly to free exchange again at this meet, so each of them has another swim that they've got to look forward to and that they've got to prepare for. So that's what we did, and there's no blame there, except for on the coaches. We didn't have them ready for that situation, and we will. But other than that, there are a lot of dreams tied up in that relay. There's a lot of goals tied up in that relay, and on some level we have to give them time to grieve, and more than that, that's about 10 seconds in my opinion, and then you move on to the next swim. You got to get ready for the next one.
Thanks, Matt. Best of luck on the next swims.
Thanks, appreciate it.